Welcome in. Here to talk about the NASCAR Cup Series race that just concluded at Richmond Raceway. The Cookout 400 won by Joey Logano. Not really a surprise. I mean, Joey and Penske Racing in general, as we said last week, have typically been really good at short tracks. And once again, Penske Racing showed up. They had speed all night, and they kept it better than they did last week for sure. They showed up with speed last week. Toyota ended up coming in later and ended up winning the race, and Penske kind of fell back. Fords fell back during the night, but not tonight. Tonight, Joey Logano in particular and Austin Cindric actually stayed up front all night long. Ryan Blaney as well until some stuff happened with his brakes late in the race. But Ford showed up once again at the short track, and this time they won, holding off a Toyota, Chase Briscoe, who had a really good short track run himself, not known for short track speed, but he showed up, probably should have even won this race. But nevertheless, once again, Joey Logano wins the race. And man, Joey Logano, they just keep letting this guy stick around, and he's gonna make them pay if they're not careful. I still don't think that he's gonna win the championship this year. I still think that this is Denny Hamlin's championship. Denny Hamlin even extended his points lead slightly. A night where, just like last week, you didn't hear about him much as far as like being a real threat to win. But again, Denny Hamlin, solid night. But like I said, Joey Logano, they're letting the guy stick around. We've seen this time and time again with his other championships that you let him hang around, he's going to make you pay, and they're going to find a way to win the championship. I don't know that he could really pull that off this year. I mean, like I said, Joey Logano, Penske Racing, Fords in general, they just have not shown the speed at any other type of track outside of short tracks and super speedways. I mean, there's one super speedway in the Chase, if I recall, Talladega, but there are no short tracks. So once this run of short tracks is over, we're going to see if Penske and Ford in general can keep that speed going into the intermediates that are going to be in the Chase, or if they're going to go back to where they were and Toyota is going to once again dominate. I expect it to be the latter, Toyota to dominate. They've been dominating all year on the type of tracks that we're going to see in the Chase. But again, Joey Logano, he's hanging around. He is now 9th in points. That is unbelievable. I mean, just a few short weeks ago, everyone was questioning if he was even going to make the Chase. But yet here he is, P9, 1 point behind Larson in 8th place. I think there's actually a realistic chance he could still climb even further. I mean, it's pretty tight from about 5th through 10th, maybe even 11th, 12th. I mean, it's just real tight. As I'm looking at the standings, I keep looking further down the chart, and it's actually pretty tight once you get out of the top 4. So Logano can still climb further up into the standings and get a better starting seed for the Chase. Again, I don't know if he'll have the speed throughout the Chase to really compete for the championship, but man, he has turned it on as of late, dominating at North Wilkesboro just a few weeks ago. Now backing it up at another short track at Richmond, getting a win. He's coming. That's all I can say about that. So great night for Joey Logano. Great night for Team Penske in general. His teammate Austin Cindric with a fantastic run ended up finishing third. Yeah, third. And he is now plus 57 to the cut line. So he's feeling probably pretty good. He's still not safe. That's not really a lot of points with 2 races to go before the Chase. but he's got to be feeling better. He does have Shane Van Gisbergen behind him, so Shane is the first guy in. So it's nice to have a driver in between you and that cut line for sure. So yeah, 2 more races before the chase, one of them being Daytona, where we know Cindric always runs well, so he's probably feeling pretty good. But let's talk about the race real quick, and then we'll talk a little more about the standings. Honestly, there's not much to talk about the race. It started out pretty good. There was a lot of battling on restarts, and so that was where a lot of the action was. But once things got strung out, it was kind of ho-hum, which that's been the MO for the short tracks, and there's still work to be done. We'll just put it that way on the short tracks. And I don't know what the answer is on that. They had a higher horsepower, I believe, and a softer tire, but still didn't really make a difference. There wasn't really a lot going on, and so they still got some work to do. But we saw, like I said, Ford up front early on in the race. They showed speed all night. Toyota was a little bit further back, I believe. I can't remember all the starting positions, if I'm being honest with you right now. But we did see one Toyota in particular looking good pretty early, and that was one Ty Gibbs, our winner from last week. Unfortunately, he shot himself in the foot once again with a speeding penalty. This guy, he speeds like every week, it feels like. He was able to come back from it last week for the win, but it also happened at North Wilkesboro, where he was also a very good car. So speeding once again, that ended up kind of derailing his night. He wound up 15th. So he's got to work on that pit road speed for sure. I think they said he sped in the first section, which was a little different this year than last year, but still something to clean up, especially come chase time. You can't be having those kinds of mistakes in the chase and taking yourself out of contention. You will not compete for a championship with those kinds of mistakes. So Gibbs, again, fast early, and again showing that he could be a threat for the championship, but that speeding penalty derailed him pretty early. Toyota, again, came to life, as they always do. Chase Briscoe with Toyota finished second. Probably should have won the race. He was faster at the end. Even Logano said that Briscoe was faster. And that's another kind of ding on the short tracks, as we see that all the time. And I guess it's not even just short tracks, but especially with short tracks where a guy is faster, but they can't get around the guy in front of them. And that's just, to me, that's not racing. If you're faster, you should be able to get around. It should not be this cat and mouse where the guy just needs to block your air a little bit and then you can never get around. I don't like that. I don't buy that as racing. Maybe I'm in the minority there. I don't know, but I'm kind of sick of seeing it. I think if a guy's faster, he should at least have some options to be able to pass. If he doesn't pull it off, then that's on him. But I want the drivers who are faster to be able to make a difference. But in any case, Chase Briscoe, Toyota finished second, Denny Hamlin fourth, Christopher Bell seventh, Tyler Reddick 11th. So Toyota's still there, but not as much in the front as we're used to seeing for sure. It was actually kind of a mixed bag tonight, kind of looking at the finishing order here. Hendrick Motorsports, it's not flashy. They weren't at all a threat to win tonight, but all 4 of their drivers finished in the top 10. Chase Elliott 5th, Kyle Larson 6th, William Byron 9th, and Alex Bowman 10th. So that's a pretty good sign. I don't know if that means that maybe we're starting to turn the corner. I think we've thought that a few times this season, especially recently, and it just has not come to fruition yet that they've gotten back to their winning ways and being fast. But it was for sure great to see Kyle Larson finish a race first off, but also finish the race in the top 10. Some of that I think was based on strategy. He did start way deep in the field. He started 30th. Of course, when he starts 30th, your first thought is, here we go again. He's going to have another bad night. But through some strategy and some speed, he had some speed too once he got the track position. he was able to get a sixth place finish. So that's great for him. Hopefully stopping a little bit of that bleeding from the points that he's had the last few weeks. He sits P8, 1 point ahead of Joey Logano. Again, just seeing Joey Logano there in ninth after questioning if he was even going to make it is it's crazy, but I digress. So yeah, Chevy had Hendrick Motorsports, I should say, specifically had a pretty good night. Josh Berry, another great night. We know he's really good at short tracks, and he proved that once again. Finished 8th. He probably should have finished better than that, but on a late restart, I know he had some contact. I believe they were 4 wide at one point, and him and Alex Bowman, I think it was, kind of got together. Not sure if he got a lot of damage on that. I mean, there was definitely some rub in that contact. Don't know how much that really damaged his car, but he lost a little bit of his track position. And also when that happened, he was at a bit of a tire disadvantage. So he didn't quite finish as good as I think he should have, but still another great run for Josh Berry. A driver who's not sure what he's got going on next year. We know he's not back in that 21 car with the Wood brothers. That's going to Jesse Love. So he's doing all he can, though, to show that he still belongs. I don't know if there's going to be any rides open in the Cup Series. My guess is probably not, but hopefully there will be some type of ride somewhere for him. Maybe in the O'Reilly series. I almost called it Xfinity, but maybe in the O'Reilly series, maybe back with Junior Motorsports. I don't know, but Josh Berry proven that he's still a great racer. P8 for him tonight. Let's go down the running order a little bit. Tyler Reddick, a guy who's had a lot of bad luck lately, getting an 11th place finish. Not what we're used to seeing. He had to play some strategy too. He also started deep in the field in 32nd, but he played that strategy pretty well. And hopefully, for his sake, stop some of that bleeding. He's still 4th in points. I believe he actually lost some ground. Looks like he lost about 18 points to Denny Hamlin this weekend. Again, Denny Hamlin, despite not having a dominant car, he didn't really talk about him much tonight. He finished 4th, and he actually extended his points lead. So, like I've been saying, I think Denny Hamlin's championship to lose. Ross Chastain, another pretty solid run, finished 12th. Brian Blaney started on the pole for the 2nd week in a row and had speed early, but had some issues with brakes. And so he ended up dropping back a little bit, finished 13th. And then Shane Van Gisbergen, 14th place after starting 31st. He had to play some strategy just like some other guys did, but guys, he's him and that team, they're finding ways to get the points that they need on the ovals. And he's still getting better on the ovals, don't get me wrong. He could have easily fallen back further. Although there weren't that many cars on the lead lap finishing tonight. Actually, Shane didn't even finish on the lead lap. He was 1 lap down. There was only 11 cars that finished on the lead lap. But SVG and that Trackhouse team, the 97, they are finding the points that they need, squeezing them out to keep themselves in a chase spot. Shane is currently 50 points to the good. And just like we said last week, and I think has been evident if you watch the races pretty closely, nobody below the cut line right now is really doing enough to take a spot in the chase. So guys like Bubba Wallace, Austin Cindric, SVG, who are less than 100 points above the cut line, as long as they don't make these massive mistakes and they get enough points, they're going to be in. Ryan Preece, he's been at that cut forever, it feels like, and he just cannot get enough points to get further. And in fact, he lost points to the cut. He came in 29 points below. He's now 50 points below. I mean, these guys just, they're not taking it. And so the 16 that we have, I said it last week. It's probably the 16 that are going to be in the chase, unless, I mean, somebody like a Ryan Preece or Ross Chastain, which is just not going to happen, right? But one of those guys would have to probably like win the next two races to get in, or one of those three guys that I mentioned, Bubba Wallace, Austin Cindric, SVG, they're going to have some pretty big problems in order to fall out of the chase. So right now, the first four out are Ryan Preece, Ross Chastain, Brad Keselowski, and Eric Jones. And you can see that on the screen at the right-hand side. I don't think any of those guys have shown anything whatsoever this year to make me believe that they're going to break into the chase. I mean, Preece looked good earlier in the season, but he just has not. He's not doing enough for sure. So the 16 that are there right now in the chase, in the top 16, again, I think will be our 16 when the chase actually starts. Just trying to look around to see who moved positions. Actually, we'll look at that here in a minute. Let's actually finish talking about the race. Like I said, there's not much to talk about. That's why it's so easy just to jump to the point standings. Talked about Josh Berry. There was a little bit of a moment where there was some varying pit strategies, and it was going to be interesting to see if it might play out. And that was Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick on a little bit a different tire strategy, but unfortunately that never actually was a factor. Once all that cycled through, we saw Joey Logano and Chase Briscoe just blow by those guys like no problem. And in fact, Bell was once again sounding pretty defeated. He's like, well, there goes my chance. He didn't realize that he was getting passed for the lead. I think he thought there was a little bit more gap than what there was, and I thought there would have been too, but there just wasn't. And so once again, Bell not able to capitalize and get a win. I mean, he wasn't really that fast tonight, so it wasn't like last week where he finished second, but was actually really fast. But still a good night, finished seventh. And he's still in the hunt for a good starting position in the chase. He's currently seventh place. Well, he's tied. He's tied with Chase Elliott for sixth. They both are at 695 points. And either one of those guys could still get fifth place from Chase Briscoe. He's 20 points ahead of those guys. So he's not feeling that comfortable yet. I think the top four are the top four. I don't think anybody's falling out of that unless there's some major disasters in the next 2 weeks from some of those guys. So you have Hamlin, Blaney, Gibbs, and Reddick, top four. There might be some moving and shaking there because 2 through 4 are pretty close. In fact, we saw Gibbs was second last week, and now that's flipped. Blaney is now second in points behind Denny Hamlin. So yeah, it's the same song, second verse as last week's. 2 through 4 is pretty tight, and then 5th through for sure 5th through 7th, but you can go 5th all the way back to 10th or 11th. I mean, they're all pretty tight. I mean, they're within. See, Chase Briscoe is 715 points. Chris Buescher at 653. Doing the quick math there, it's about 56 points separating those two guys. So not a lot of points, and really it's not much. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong. I was looking at Joey Logano, 56 points Logano to Briscoe, so 62 points. Still not a lot of points, and then really it's still even just as tight all the way back to 16th really. So there could be a lot of moving and shaking still before the 16 are set in the order that they're going to be in. But again, I do think we have our 16 for the chase here. That they're not locked in, obviously, but I just don't see, like I said, anybody falling out or anybody just pushing their way through. You do have up to 7th place clinched. I did not actually realize that. That's pretty cool. So that must mean Briscoe, Elliott, and Bell clinched tonight, because last week it was just the top 4 that were clinched. Elliott and Bell. Well, again, they're tied. They were pretty close last week too. So, but they're clinched. They're in. That's great. I'm a Chase Elliott fan, so I love seeing that he's clinched. He's been on a bit of a slide the last several weeks, so it's good to see that he's. I mean, he was never going to fall out of the chase, right? But it's good to see that he's clinched. And again, he had a top 5 tonight, which is pretty good. I mean, you didn't really hear much out of him either. The only Hendrick car that you were really hearing about tonight was Kyle Larson, and that's mainly because he started in the back. It wasn't looking good early, and then he was playing some strategy and mowing through the field. Whenever he was getting some good track position. But otherwise, you didn't really hear much about the Hendrick drivers, but they all ran well and they all finished well. Again, they were all in the top 10, so good signs. So, yeah, I mean that the race is the race. It wasn't great, so I don't have much else to say about the race itself. But we're just going to keep an eye on the points. I guess the only other one I would point out maybe tonight is Carson Hocevar. He's been on a slide recently. We think he might have had an engine problem of some sort last week, and then he had another engine problem tonight. It was unclear if he may have missed a shift, or it did seem that he caused it, whatever it was, because he apologized over the radio. But an engine problem tonight took him out of the race. He finished last, which is not good. Actually, back there with his buddy Zane Smith. Well, Zane Smith was still running at the end of the race. But I just think that's funny because they don't like each other. But they both finished in the very back. So Carson Hocevar has been on a bit of a slide. At one point, people were asking, could he be a title contender? Well, I mean, never say never, right? There's going to be a reset when the chase starts, and he can still climb back up and get a better seed. But I mean, just Chevy, it's still Chevy, and until they really start showing that they've come to play, I just think it's Toyota season. I mean, you have Toyotas in the top 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 7. I mean, it'd be a shame if Toyota lost this year, for sure. I mean, we've seen it before it used to be the Xfinity series where you had 3 cars from one team, let alone manufacturer, and they got beat. I'm talking about Ty Gibbs beating the JRM cars a couple years back. So it's happened, but that was in the playoff era too. So the one win championship. Or one race championship. So Toyota's 5 of the top 7 currently. It's a Toyota season, and again, I think it's a Denny Hamlin season. I'm gonna say that every week until we get to the final race. I don't know why I just had a massive brain fart. Homestead's the final race. I was gonna say Phoenix, and I knew that wasn't right, but I'm gonna keep saying until we get to Homestead. That Denny Hamlin is going to win this championship. Darn it, he better win it. He's got this year, and according to him, next year, and then he's done, right? And I think it'd be a shame if he goes out, retires, and never wins the championship. I know we've had that happen to great drivers, but I don't think it's going to happen to Hamlin. I think he's finally going to get over that hump this season, and he's still racing at a high level. So even if somehow it doesn't happen this year, he's still racing at a very high level, and he'll be back next year, just as good, I'm sure. In a very good spot to get it. Heck, he could go out a 2-time champion, back to back. What that's like John Elway, man. So I'm not a huge football historian, but I think I got that right. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure somebody will if I'm wrong. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's not much else to say about tonight. You had 2 cars out front that were just head and shoulders above everyone else, and so ho-hum race, not a lot going on except for maybe on a couple of restarts, but Joey Logano, your winner tonight. I'm not happy about it. I'm not a Joey Logano fan. My sister, huge Joey Logano fan. I'm sure she would like to rub it in my face for at least the next week that her driver won, right? Especially when my driver is not really having the greatest season, although they have the same amount of wins, so there's something there. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up Richmond. Had to remember where they raced tonight. I'm not always great with night races. It's a little late for me. I know I'm not like old or anything, but man, night races just get me. But yeah, Joey Logano, winner tonight at Richmond Raceway. Next week is New Hampshire. Just a little preview on that. Again, short track, or no, it's a mile, isn't it? It's like a mile track. So I think Joey Logano in particular has been good there. I'm not sure about Penske as a whole, but the one driver that I know for sure has always been really good there. Though I don't know if he has the wins in the Cup Series like he does in the O'Reilly. But Christopher Bell has been knocking on the door for that win, first win of the season. All the other Toyota drivers have been getting wins, at least his JGR teammates. Maybe New Hampshire for Christopher Bell. I think it would not be going out on a limb to say that he could come in and win that race. And you know he knows that he's very good at that track. So he's going to be coming in hungry and just really ready to go. And I think he can win that race. I'll go ahead and say Christopher Bell will win that race. If you're obviously really big into NASCAR, I'm sure you guys are familiar with Marcus on YouTube in the comments section. He's always commenting on like all the major NASCAR YouTube channels, like the main NASCAR channel, but also channels like Eric Estep. Shout out Eric Estep. Love your stuff. Love your work. All the Dale Jr. stuff, Dirty Mo Media. He's always commenting, and he's always commenting about Christopher Bell. He loves Christopher Bell, talking about where Christopher Bell finished. Always saying that Christopher Bell is going to win the next race. So hey, Marcus, this is for you. Christopher Bell is going to win New Hampshire next week. I would put money on it. I'm not actually going to put money on it, but Christopher Bell next week, New Hampshire, write it in. And we will be back next week to cover that race. Hopefully that's an earlier race, which is great. Great for me. And then we can have an earlier live stream, hopefully something more eventful too. So that wraps it up here. Appreciate everybody for watching, and we'll see you after the New Hampshire race.